hear me out. I had no intention at all to disappear for the last 14 days. Unfortunately, as you can imagine, life just gets in the way once in a while, and well, that's what's happened. So we are back on the Hytale world at long last, and the first job that we need to do is sort out these chests from the ash that we collected a very long time ago. I am tempted to break this one as well. Cool. And I want to break them because this is literally the quickest way to be able to sort them properly. You know, I want sticks in their own respective area. See, this is a lot more organized than it was just a moment ago. And was this which one was it? It was this one. So it's this one, right? I know what I'm doing. I promise. So, you know, it's been 2 weeks and I'm like, right, how do I play a video game? How inconvenient. Now, in the previous episode, I did leave you all hanging on which type of lighting I wish to use for the treehouse. Of course, there was this idea of having this rope dangling down with some candles, or the idea of like floating beehives with candles underneath. Now, what I didn't realize was 5,000 people were going to watch that episode, and well, put it this way, hi to all the new subscribers. I hope you're not mad at me for being gone for 2 weeks. Anywho, there were a few opinions, and of course, the majority preferred this idea instead of this because aesthetically, this is it's not giving the right vibe. Anywho, there was another idea. And that was the factor that underneath here, I've actually got lighting underneath that block. You know, you see? That is going to be annoying to collect. And well, basically, long story short, light can actually pass through hearth slabs and platforms. So that is how there's a little bit of light up above. And if I just make my way back up to the top of the treehouse, I'll show you what I mean from up there. So if I place this right down here, and let's get rid of the torches, you'll see that there is light seeping through. Now, of course, I have platforms here, and I've also got platforms here. For demonstration purposes only, you can see that if I put a sand swept platform like so, and I break the blocks connecting it, it will fall over. However, if I plop back here and go around like so, and I keep a block right next to it like so, and then I get a lighting block of my choice, again, just for example purposes, you should be able to see a clearer example of how light pass-through is working. So I have a small-ish idea, be it a little bit annoying to do. If I somehow I'm able to go down here and then on, let's say, the outer plank here, add some lighting, it will seep through the platform right here. And yes, I am aware that that plank is, oh my gosh. Thank you very much. Now, of course, the easiest way down, and this is what I've been doing in previous episodes, is literally just breaking a little bit of the tree trunk like so, and then building platforms along and outwards. Now, due to the nature of my builds, I don't necessarily want to waste cobblestone, but I do have some basalt cobble in here, which I really don't need, and it's not the aesthetic that I'm going for, so I'm happy to waste it. So if I just build out like so, then I'll be able to access the underneath. And well, where I'm going to be wanting to place light sources will be on this block right here. But the thing is, I'm not sure how I feel about my base primarily being like flat. It's basically a floating plate. So I think we're gonna need to almost make this platform almost a more bowl shaped anyway, because there is something about how I don't know, flying sorcery it kind of looks right now. And I think I want to add it to, I think I want to make it a little bit more realistic, and having this flat platform is not really selling it. Making my FOV quite punched in, you'll notice that if I were to make this more bowl-shaped, it would actually hide quite a lot of the dirty decor that I've got underneath, and of course we'll be able to bring some of these lights a little bit further down, and it will add a little bit more personality. But that also means I will be able to hide whatever light source I put underneath this platform. And well, the reality with that knowledge basically means I could put anything underneath. Like, I don't necessarily need to hang these candles. Like, I could, but I don't need to. And well, the candles I have been using are quite expensive. And there definitely are cheaper alternatives like the Quebec candle. But of course, this is a treehouse. And well, one thing's for sure, I want to be a little bit extra, and I want there to be a little bit of an atmosphere. So let's head over to the temple like so, and let's find our little friend down here. Hey there, little golem, what's up? Do you want to build a snowman? I'm sure you do. Ouchies. Bye-bye. And if only there was something that admitted an atmospheric light source. Now, I'm not certain that this is going to be the answer, but at least it's something that I would consider thinking out of the box. So let's just say, for example, I plopped this down. Let's just place it here for the time being. And well, as you can see, there is a subtle green glow now. And well, I just so happen to have a few of them. So if I place one right there, and then place one right here, and then another one right there, I am not sure if I'm onto something or not. Maybe, just maybe, we need to wait until it's a little bit darker in the sky to be able to see if it really is something that we want to pursue. Of course, then the other thought with the emeralds in mind would be to use them actually up in the tree itself. I'm not saying that we need a lot of these, but like maybe one or two just randomly placed would maybe kind of give the impression of like glowing fruit or something. So just placing a couple down like so. Let's see what that looks like. You know what? That doesn't look too horrendous, but a lot more would definitely be needed to illuminate the entirety of this tree. And now that it's a tad darker, we can actually see how this is looking. The only catch with emeralds is that in order to get them, you pretty much need to go back to the temple every so often. And I don't think that a time skip of night is necessarily all that is required. However, I'm willing to test that theory to really see how we get more of these emeralds, because this could be quite ambitious. Let's see, is there another golem down here? Nope. So I think before I fully commit to brutally destroying multiple golems, we've got to decide if this is worth it. So comment section, once again, let me know your thoughts. And now that you kind of have this idea to think outside of the box, if you have any suggestions yourself about how we could do underfloor lighting, I'm really interested to hear it. So don't be shy, you know, let me know. However, one thing is for certain, no matter what I do, I am going to need to use my tree farm and get a lot of dry wood, because I am definitely thinking of crafting, creating the bowl shape underneath. Oh my gosh, did I just land on the thing? I heard a squeak at the last second. Oh my gosh, my squirrels. If I am going to create this bowl shape, I am going to need some wood. And well, we do use quite a fair amount of dry wood. And well, my stocks are quite low. And well, just over here, for the ones you can remember just a few weeks ago, a little tree farm was curated. And it turns out that it's been too long and I forgot to bring a source of dirt. Aha, aha, aha. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do. And around here we go. And for the ones who don't remember, I actually use gravel to be able to plant my saplings. Back to the tree farm we go. Splosh. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll just place the saplings down like so. And last 2 right here. Break all of this. And just for the ones who are tuning in fresh and confused to why I'm putting the gravel up high, it's because I don't want the root system to go into the ground. I want it to be floating above the ground, and this should work. Now, there has been one little job that I have been putting off pretty frequently. And that is building the remaining elements of this staircase. Now, of course, we're using hardwood to be able to create this. I did have to double check. And well, fortunately for me, I have been working very hard. Well, I say that, not recently. 2 weeks ago, I've been working really hard. And at the beginning of this episode, as you would have seen, I've got quite a bit of hardwood. So I think I need to pick up the tempo just a little bit more, and well, nothing's gonna make me get around to doing it quicker than actually just making all of the stuff that I need to do to make it work. Haha. Now, of course, one of the biggest hurdles when it comes to building this very challenging staircase is the fact that we don't know what block we're placing as the wall as of yet. So we're trying to figure out what it will look like, you know, down the line, and not necessarily what it will look like now. You know, it's hard to imagine what this potentially could end up looking like. So this is very much a trial and error. And for the ones who are wondering how I have the sanity to maintain doing the same old pattern, or how I'm figuring out the pattern, I'm not. This is a lot of guesswork. But I am gonna need some torches in my offhand to be able to see what I'm doing, because otherwise this is gonna be a little bit more challenging than I would have hoped. However, that is all that we've got time for. I am so close, but unfortunately, life is life, and I've got things to do that is not playing video games. I'm sorry, but I'm sure we'll get to hear in the very next episode. But the progress that we have already made in just this short little span is quite impressive nonetheless. And just for a rough example, originally I built the majority of this 3 blocks wide, but I wanted to taper it out to eventually be 4 blocks wide. So around here, we've got this rope in the way, but you'll notice that it instantly becomes a little bit wider, because if we are going to make it to somewhere up here at least, you know, we're going to want to have a grand entrance. Now, I don't necessarily believe that it is going to make it exactly up to here, but it'll be around here somewhere. It'll you know, I kind of got the rough general direction. It'll be somewhere here. And so for this grand staircase, I couldn't be happier with the progress that we've made. It's very wibbly wobbly. It's very organically formed. There is not really a science behind it. There's no maths behind it. It's just meant to feel, you know, handmade, handcrafted, and really have that personality. Also, if you want to name my pet bunnies, I'm taking suggestions in the comments. But on that note, it is a goodbye from me. Bye!